Hello, everyone. So this week's lecture will be a recorded one because I want you to have a recorded account of everything that we're doing. We are going to continue what we did last week, which was to extract World Development Indicator dataset. In order to recap what we're doing, we went to Google and entered World Development Indicators, and it is leading us to the World Bank Data Bank, which is a repository for the majority of global data sets that are relevant for international relations. So let's click on World Development Indicators, and we are sent to this World Bank interface. So what we want here to test is that let's explore this interface a little bit. Now, it consists of a left-hand side panel and a right-hand side panel. It asks me to specify country, series, and time. Right now, I haven't selected them, so it's not displaying anything. So our question for today is, we are going to work with World Development Indicators, which is selected right here. And we are going to work with population growth statistics. So as you can see, Data Bank, World Development Indicators, variables, layout, style, save, share, embed. We have to only work with the variables section here. And here it has a database pane, a country pane, a series pane, and a time pane. So first of all, it asks me to specify which database I want to work with. Of course, World Bank database has an extensive list of sub-databases. For now, we only have to work with World Development Indicators. And when you select this, you can close this tab and open country. So in this list, I want all of those countries. But the problem is, it has the countries list, and it has the aggregates list, and then it has the all list. So first, let's look at what the aggregates contain. When I click on aggregates, I see that the aggregates are a combination of countries and country groupings. For example, Arab world, Jordan, Egypt, Tunisia, East Asian Pacific, Vietnam, South Korea. So these are not countries. These are country groups and country classifications, such as low income, lower middle income. So I do not want the aggregates. What I want is to select countries. And I have all the countries here, and I want to select all countries. So as you can see here, there's a tick button, which is the select all button for World Bank. So I'm clicking on this, and you have to select 217 countries out of this. When you select this, we close this as well, then we select series. Now, series are data points that are underneath the World Development Indicator database. So it has access to clean fuels and technologies, all the way to gross national income, labor force participation rate, all of the essential statistics that determine the level of development of a country. Multidimensional poverty intensity. This is probably too advanced for you at this point. What I need from here is I need population growth statistics. So there's a search pane here. I'm going to click search, And even by specifying that data point, it gives me a whole bunch of population growth statistics. From here, I need to select population growth, annual percentage. It means that what is the rate of growth of a population by year? So 2020 compared to 2019, 2019 compared to 2018. So I need the population growth annual percentage. So I'm checking this. And I'm closing the series, and then I'm specifying time. So the data set goes all the way back to 1960. I need all of those. And in order to select all of those, I again have to go here and click on select all. Now I have specified everything. I specified a database, I specified a country, series, and I specified time. So when all of these are chosen, I'm going to click on apply changes. Now it extracts that data out of World Bank dataset and brings it into the preview section. Here you have all of the countries on the list here. And the data goes all the way back to 1960. So what I want right now is I want to explore this on my own computer and open them up on Excel. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to download options, and there are several choices here. We can import this as Excel. We can, but as I mentioned in class, not everything you find online is in Excel format. The majority of data online is CSV format because it's a more efficient form of data storage. So we have to learn how to deal with CSV format because most data won't have Excel. So it's a better skill to learn how to deal with CSV rather than trying to find the Excel format. Tabbed text, this is a fixed width format we won't be dealing with right now. For now, let's download the CSV file onto the computer. So as you can see, I have the downloaded file on my computer. I'm clicking on this. And when I click on this, I see two types of data. One, metadata, and then the other one that is called the actual data. So metadata gives you broad information about the variables, the measurements, and so on. What we need is the actual data. So you need to open this, not the metadata CSV. You need to open the data CSV. So for those of you who are using Mac, don't open this on numbers. Open this up with Excel, please. So once I open this, you're going to notice that this is an unformatted, unstructured file, and it needs to be parsed. As we mentioned earlier, parsing is basically assigning each value to a specific cell. So in order to do that, since all of this data is squeezed in column A, I need to select column A. I go to data, and here in the data pane, you have an option called text to columns. I'm clicking on that. So we did this before, you already know this. So It gives us two options. Delimited option, in which data is separated from each other through characters such as commas or tabs, or fixed width file formats that are aligned in columns with spaces between each field. Since we downloaded a CSV file, we are working with a delimited file format. So I'm clicking next. This is a comma-separated file. So this is not tab separated, this is comma separated. And once I select comma, you see that everything is now fitted in a specific column underneath in the preview. So I'm clicking next. So what we need right now is to make sure that Excel reads this data properly and doesn't make any errors. Most of you who have automatic formatting selected on your Excel, you're going to notice that when Excel automatically formats these things, it makes a mistake. It misunderstands the data in these. Sometimes it interprets this value as a date. Sometimes it interprets this as a number. So we have to go to advanced because we have to explain to Excel what these numbers are. So it's giving us two options. It asks, what is your decimal separator and what is your thousandths separator? Now, as you can see, we are working with percentages. So it means that we're not really using any thousands in this data. When I click cancel, and when we look at the data itself, all of these values are percentages. So 2.42%, 1.91%, 1.22%. These are all percentages. The only place in the data where I have thousands are in the year section, 1979, 1980. And I don't need to separate them in thousands. So I don't need 1,980, 1,981. I don't need a thousand separator, which is why I'm going to select nothing. As you can see, comma, dot, apostrophe, and nothing. So I don't have any thousands here, so I'm going to select nothing. And decimal separator, this is very crucial. Designating this will make the difference between Excel misinterpreting this data or correctly interpreting this data. As you can see, my decimal separators are all full stops. All of those are dots. So 0.3, 1.9, 2.0. So my decimal separator is not a comma. My decimal separator is a dot. Then I click OK. And then I'm going to click Finish. Now, as you can see, now I have somewhat a properly parsed version of this, which is slightly okay. One trick that you can use to fit all those values in respective columns, you can click on here and select everything. Then go to any random column. In between two columns, you're going to see that your cursor will change. When you double click, you're going to notice that it fits everything into the respective size. Now, I am scrolling down to see if everything is well. And now I'm noticing a problem. You see that the column C represents series name. And for all countries, I have population growth annual percentage, basically what it has to be. But with Bahamas, I have the BHS, whereas the population growth annual is shifted into the series code. And then the series code has shifted into 1960. And then the value for 1961 is shifted to 1962. So when I observe this row and go all the way back to 2021, I see that 2021 values for the Bahamas are shifted outside of the data box. So this is a cell shift error. And I noticed that similar problems exist for other countries as well. And this is a huge, huge, huge problem. We can't really use this data as it is because there's a problem with cell shifts. Now, when we select these two rows that have cell shift problem and go all the way back to the beginning, I see that the problem originates from the fact that some country names have two words. So the Bahamas, or Democratic Republic of Congo, or Republic of Congo, or Arab Republic of Egypt, or the Gambia, or Islamic Republic of Iran, or Chinese Hong Kong. So what we need to do is that we have to take the and attach it to Bahamas. We have to take Democratic Republic and attach it to Congo. We have to take Republic and attach it to other Congo because these two Congos are different countries. Democratic Republic of Congo and Republic of Congo are different countries. Arab Republic, we have to take the Arab Republic and attach it to Egypt. So what we have to do is when we are fixing this kind of a problem, and we have it with Yemen, Republic of Yemen, Venezuela, we have it with them, we have federal states of Micronesia. We have to fix this because otherwise the visualization and the analysis that we're going to produce out of this is going to be wrong. So how do we fix this? So we fix this by, I'm going to left click on the Bahamas and I'm going to insert. I'm going to insert a blank new cell which has to shift cells to the right. So on A15, I need a blank cell, which is going to shift Bahamas to B15 and the to C15. Follow closely what I'm going to do because you can just pause and stop and follow exactly what I'm doing. Now I shifted this entire row to the right. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the same thing for all problematic countries. So I'm selecting these two Congos, I'm doing insert, I'm doing shift cells right, and then it shifted cells right. Same thing for Egypt, same thing for Gambia. Let's see. Egypt. Let's do insert, shift cells right. Gambia. I'm doing one by one so that you understand exactly where I'm doing these things. You can also select multiple cells by holding, depending on whether you're using Mac or PC, either holding down the control button or the Apple button on Apples. You may have to explore a bit to see which button on your computer allows you to select these one by one. So I'm looking at Korea, Republic of Korea. I'm selecting multiple ones. I'm selecting China, Macau, because it's a problematic cell as well. Federal States of Micronesia. I'm scrolling down as well. These are all fine. RP, Venezuela, and then Yemen. So I'm clicking finally on Yemen. I'm right-clicking on this. And again, I'm doing insert, shift cells to the right. Now, as you can see, I have a blank cell for all of those problematic countries that had a cell shift problem. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fix these cell shift problems. So I'm going to this A15 blank cell, and I am starting with the equal sign because I'm going to add a formula. I'm going to use the concat function. So concat, what am I concatenating? As you remember, I am concatenating Bahamas and the. And then I'm closing the parentheses and I hit enter. Now, what I have is that once I have concat B15, C15, it says Bahamas the. So it concatenated this wrong. What it has to do is that it has to take C15 first, because it is the, and then take the Bahamas. Okay, now I have the Bahamas, which is correct, but as you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. It doesn't have a space between the and the Bahamas. And it has a space in the beginning and the free space at the end. Now we have to fix that because it's going to mess up our data visualization. So I have to wrap my concat function with another command called trim, which basically gets rid of the first space and the final space. Let me run this code. Yes, so the beginning space is gone, the ending space is gone, but the Bahamas is still there. So what I have to do right now is to add a space in between C15 and B15. And I add a space by the add function, which in this context is the and symbol, double quotation, space, double quotation. So this is the format. Equals, don't forget to add the equal sign. Whenever you are adding a formula, always start with an equal sign, because if you do not enter the equal sign, it's not going to interpret that as a formula. So equal trim, parentheses, concat or concatenate, depending on which exe you're using, C15, and double quotation, space, double quotation, and B15. Now, as you can see, I have the Bahamas properly parsed and fitted. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy, and remember, when I'm copying a formula, the first thing Excel copies will not be the country name, the Bahamas. It is going to copy this function. And it is going to copy this function. And when I say paste, it is going to paste it in the same way that fits the B and C columns. So when I'm going to paste it here, it is going to paste in such a way that A46 becomes Democratic Republic of Congo and A47 becomes Republic of Congo. Let's say paste. And as you can see, it did not copy the Bahamas. It copied Democratic Republic of Congo. It copied the formula and then adapted it to here. So when I'm pasting it here, it understands that I have to concatenate Republic and Congo with the trim and concatenate function. So I'm clicking paste again. And as you can see, it copied and pasted as Republic of Congo. Next, we have Egypt. Same thing. Paste Arab Republic of Egypt. So let's see if I click on Gambia, hold the option sign and select multiple empty cells. Select multiple empty cells, holding the function button or the Apple button, depending on which computer you're using. It may get a little bit trial and error to find it. I'm selecting here and here. So when I select those multiple empty cells, as you can see, now I'm right-clicking on any empty pane and I'm right-clicking and adding paste. Look, it automatically said it concatenated and trimmed everything and it parsed everything quite well. Now, what I want to do is I have to get rid of the Bahamas, because what I have to do is that I have to get BHS, the country code, all the way to column B, because it has to be here, then population growth under series name, SP pop grow under series code, so that the entire system shifts way back to where it belongs. So I am going to delete the Bahamas and shift cells left. Now, when I did that, look how it produced an error. It produces an error because, as you can remember, there was a function here, and that function was dependent on the and Bahamas existing. So for the Bahamas to exist here, the trim concat function requires C15 and B15. If they don't exist, then this formula is gone. So in order to make sure that this doesn't go away, I copy this, but instead of pasting it, this time I'm going to use paste special. And instead of copying the formula and pasting the formula, I only want it to paste the values, meaning what is inside, the cell value. So instead of copying and pasting trim concat C15, I want it to copy and paste the Bahamas. So once I paste values here, you would observe that the function, the command here is gone, and the Bahamas is here without being dependent on B15 and C15. So now what I can do is that I can delete these safely and shift cells to the left. Now, as you can see, the Bahamas is now here, VHS is here, and everything is perfect. You would notice that there is no cell shift anymore. Let's go all the way to the end of this row. Yes, this is fixed. Nothing plunges out of the data pane. Let's go further down. Let's copy Democratic Republic of Congo and Republic of Congo. Let's copy them. Let's paste special using values. Let's delete these and shift cells to the left. Don't forget to shift them to the left. Don't shift up because then it's going to mess up. Okay, these are also fine. And I'm checking whether they have any inconsistency here. No, they do not. This one does. Let's see what this is. Arab Republic of Egypt. Again, when I look at the cell values, it has a function here. So I'm going to copy this and then paste it as values and then safely delete Arab Republic of Egypt. And then, of course, the best way to do this, the reason why we're using functions is to do this very fast, because otherwise we have to deal with each and every cell. So we select all of those cells that we need to copy and paste as value. So I'm copying, and I'm doing paste special, paste as values. Okay, it doesn't allow me to do it on multiple values, doesn't matter. Let's go back again to Gambia. Let's do copy. Let's paste special values. Copy. Paste special values. Do we have anything else? Let's get rid of those as well. Delete, shift cells left. Delete, shift cells left. This may sound boring, but essentially this is the most important part of data analysis. Data cleaning and data formatting. We forgot to copy, paste special values. Most important part of data analysis is this data formatting and data structuring part. Without these, I mean, imagine if we didn't do this part. Practically, with the cell shift problem, everything would be in a really terrible condition, and we would be making an error with the analysis and the resultant data visualization, which is very, very bad. So most of the time, the data that you're going to get online is going to be unstructured and unformatted like this. So you need to learn how to structure and format data so that you can work with any kind of external data set. And it's hugely important to be able to do this reliably, because when you see if we have done well, okay, these are all fine, just 2 more to go. I'm doing one by one because I want to make sure that I don't make a mistake. It's often very easy to make a mistake in Excel. So when you graduate and go to your first job or your first internship, if you have these skills, you will be in a much more advantaged position compared to other people that are your competitors who don't know these things. And it's very, very important. Let's save this. don't forget to save as often as possible. So now, what we did is that we downloaded a data set from World Bank World Development Indicators. When we parsed it, we found that there was a cell shift problem. Then we fixed all of those cell shift problems, and I'm looking at the last value, which is 2021. There were some countries, because they had two or multiple words in their names, they had a cell shift problem. Now I'm looking, we do not have any extra value, which means that we have successfully managed. So West Bank and the Gaza, they don't have data up until a certain point, but that's okay. So we have done well. So this is practically how you download data from the internet, how you open it, how you parse it, and how you clean it in such a way that it becomes ready for visualization. Now let's visualize this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to open up a new sheet from here. And let me rename this sheet as line graph. This is going to be the sheet where I produce my line graph. So what do I need to be able to produce a line graph? I need countries, and I need their data from 1961 all the way to 2021. So the first thing I need to copy from here are country names. So I'm going to A1, the entire first row, clicking on copy. And I'm going to my second sheet, and I'm pasting them all the way here. Again, for us to be able to fit all of these values into the same column, the only thing we have to do is to select all and then double click on a column, and then it fits everything right where it should be. Now, let's do an analysis of Turkey and its neighbors. So let's select Turkey, then hold the multiple select button. Again, it can be command or function or Apple key, depending on whether you're using a Mac or a PC. So what are Turkey's neighbors? So Syria, but here it is called the Syrian Arab Republic, its formal name. Then Iraq, Islamic Republic of Iran, Greece, Georgia. There's Georgia here, 74. Bulgaria and Armenia. I'm clicking on copy, and then I'm going to the line graph. I'm going to A2, and I'm pasting them. Again, let me fit them properly. So what I do not need here are these two rows. I don't really need them. What I need is country name and the years that they're associated with. So I'm going to say delete. And now I have everything that I need. So in order to produce a line graph, I will be selecting these values, all of the rows, I am going to insert, and here you have multiple options for visualization: column, line, pie, XY, scatter, statistical, hierarchy, waterfall, and combo. You can also go to recommended charts, and it gives you a recommended chart here, but it doesn't really show the one I want to show. So I'm going to go to recommended charts, and I'm going to select a very simple two-dimensional line. Now, what I see here is, yes, there's Turkey, Syrian Arab Republic, Iraq, and whatever, but there's a problem here. It accidentally has country name 1960 accidentally read as a country name. This shouldn't be here. Let me make it bigger. So this country name 1960 shouldn't be here. So I need to fix this. How do I fix this? Let me zoom out again. I am going to right-click on this chart, and I have to format plot area. Oh, wait, no, not this one. Oh, I made a mistake. Yeah, sorry, not format plot area. That was my mistake. We have to select data because we have to fix the x-axis and the y-axis. Horizontal axis is called the x-axis. The vertical axis is called the y-axis. So I have to select data. Okay. This is an interface which will allow me to select data properly. So here, what I need is to select horizontal axis labels. And my horizontal axis labels have to be years selected. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have some success. We have years successfully added, but we unfortunately still have 1960. So I have to do select data again. As you can see here, it says legend series. So these are all countries, but country name 1960 doesn't really belong here. So I have to remove that. And then click OK. Fine. So what I have right now is a properly formatted time series graph. This y-axis gives me the percentage of population growth in these countries. So it goes to positive 6%, 8%, to negative 4%, 6%. And it has a legend which includes years. So it starts from 1960, it goes all the way to 2021. Now, how I interpret this is that in 1980-81, there was a big increase in Iran's population growth, and then it slightly declined, and both Armenia and Georgia witnessed significant declines. Also, Iran witnessed significant declines in their population growth after 1992. Probably it's due to the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union. In Iraq, we see a huge population increase at the end of 1990. Then another decline in 2007. There is a big bump in Syria in 2007, but then due to the civil war, population growth declines significantly in Syria. So you can modify these graphs even further. When you just left click on them, you're going to see that you can change colors. You can use different colors, different color codes for them. There are different options to visualize them, like this. You can double click on the chart title and say something like population growth rates of Turkey and its neighbors, for example. You can click on the legend, go to home and increase the size of their fonts to make them more readable. But essentially, this is how you produce a line graph. Let's also try to make a map. Let's create a second sheet. I'm going to click on New Sheet, and I'm going to rename this as World's Map. Let's produce a map out of this. So for a line graph, this is longitudinal data. Remember, I explained what longitudinal data means in class. Longitudinal data means that it is time specific. It contains time values. But a world map, there is no way to really properly interpret time on a world map unless it's interactive. So we need to select only one single year. So what I need for this map is only just country names. So I'm copying the entire A column, going to the world map, right-clicking and pasting. Then the only thing I need are the values for 2021. I'm right-clicking and copying, going to the world map, clicking on B, and pasting as well. So now what I have are just country names and their 2021 values. And I have here 217 countries because the first row is the description row. Data from database, World Development Indicators, last updated 1st of March. So what we need to do is that we select all, then we go to data, we go to insert, and here we have an option called maps, insert a map chart. So I'm going to click on filled map, and now it's connecting online. This is now empty, but it's connecting online and searching for the names of these countries in the World Bank database and putting them up on an actual map. Now, you may think that, how does Excel know which countries are actually on the map? We haven't defined them, right? It's because we are using official World Bank names of countries. The reason why we have Central African Republic, the reason why we have official names such as China, Hong Kong, SAR, or Islamic Republic of Iran, or Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the cell shift error that we fixed early on is because these are the names that Excel automatically connects from its database to the World Bank database and brings the map values automatically from the internet. Now, as you can see, Sub-Saharan African republics, all those countries have a very high growth rate. Probably we don't have data for Iran, we don't have for Egypt, we don't have for Colombia as well, not recent anyway. So we can change colors on this as well. One way we can do is to change colors like this. We can adjust it on this chart as well, and we can then name our chart title saying that map of countries by annual population growth rate. Yeah, nice. So we save always, and that is essentially how you produce a line graph and how you produce a map using World Bank data. We will be doing this quite a lot in the coming weeks. So it's really best to have this as a recorded video so that you can come back to it as frequent as you like. But it's very important that you do this correctly and pay as much time as you like to these exercises. Okay, this is practically our class for this week. And on Thursday, we're going to do an exercise based on this lecture. So please replay this video as often as you like. I really want to make sure that you understand all these technicalities really, really well, because we will be importing more data from World Bank, not just from World Bank, but other repositories as well. But the practice and the principle is very identical. We will be producing a lot of line graphs. We will be producing world maps. So it's very important that you know how to do these. Okay, so this is all for today. I will see you on Thursday for the online recitation session. So thank you so much for joining me, and take care.